Now to tell you more about it, to give you a little behind-the-scenes peek of how this incredible show all came about, we have one of the folks from the creative team that helped put this show together, and then afterwards, we're going to take questions from the audience. That's what these microphones are for, okay? So think of some good questions, but first, let me introduce the executive producer from Disney Creative Entertainment, Doug McIntyre. All yours.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here to talk to you a little bit. I brought some sort of making of pictures and a couple of video clips. I thought it'd be fun to take you through and just show you some of the process that we used to get to what you saw today. It's so great to hear your response. I can't tell you. Thank you so much, and thank you for being annual pass holders and our biggest fans, and we're excited to bring you this new show. So thank you so much. With Master Jensen, is it possible that we could use the screen to show these fine folks some images of our work?
The possibilities are endless.
Thank you very much, Master Jensen. So I thought I would just take you quickly through some of the images. You just saw it in real life, but here's where we started. So this is the concept art that we did some of this was almost 2 years ago, over a year and a half ago, where we started before we had any of this all put together, right? We start with sort of colored images, and I'll just click through these. You can see some of what it looked like as we were conceiving the show, the map, Mickey's part interacting with the map and how he would play. Kind of the look of some of the numbers, and I think you can really see that where we started is very close to where we ended. Again, this is all created up to a year and a half ago. And here's the wonderful princess medley, of course, in the show. And here's the actual photo, so you can kind of see what it was looking like and how it came out. And it's pretty close, a lot of fun. Under the C number was Sebastian, and again, one of the just numbers we had the most fun with. So that just gives you a little flavor of kind of the early steps of the art that led to the making of the show and where we started as we conceived what we wanted to do here. And then, of course, one of the key components of creating a show, and really, what really moves you, right, what really gets you in here is the music. And so some of you may have seen this little clip. It's about a minute and a half just about the orchestration and the making of the music for the show. So I thought I would just play this because it's more interesting than you listening to me.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Today we're at one of the most exciting parts of the production process of the new show, and that's to record the music. We're here at a scoring stage where they do film scores with large orchestras, and today we have a large orchestra and just creating absolutely beautiful music that our guests will enjoy as part of making the magical map.
For Mickey and the Magical Map, I'm involved in co-producing the soundtrack for the show, and getting the music done is my favorite part of that. Because of the way the show looks and the way the show sounds, there's going to be some very magical things that happen on that stage that people are going to want to come back for over and over.
I gotta tell you, working in the live entertainment side of the business, that's one of the most fun things we can do is go to those big orchestra sessions and sit in and listen to the music being made. Is probably one of the most exciting parts of the job and one of the most exciting steps in the process. So then another important piece is, of course, the costumes and the wonderful costume designs. And again, here's just a short little video that, again, you may have seen on the blog. It talks about how we make the costumes, and you'll see some of the fittings and work that went into the costumes behind the scenes.
In the Magical Map, my role was basically to see the costumes through the design, the development, and overall production.
Yeah, during the fittings, for the most part, everyone had that same. It was really big on everyone, so they cut it down an inch and a half really on everyone, but some of them still might be able to do that.
The shoulder might be able to come out a little bit because this is just drop.
The theme of the costume is Renaissance Steampunk, which is really just a contemporary take on that Renaissance theme and the Renaissance look. The color palette here is very warm colors, golds and burgundies and browns, and they really complement each other very well. The costumes are filled with lots of detail. There's definitely a lot of kind custom leather work, faux leathers, and metal and grommets and different nail heads like that as well. The biggest challenge in designing the costumes is finding that perfect fabric. There's lots of different styles of fabric in the show, and just getting those ones that look just right and have that Renaissance steampunk feel. Definitely want the fabrics to breathe, definitely want them to move well, and I think we've accomplished that.
We're done. That's everyone.
My favorite part of the show is definitely the map makers. Devoted a lot of that time to the production and development of that, so seeing them out there on the stage dancing and seeing the way the costumes move is definitely a highlight.
So great job by the costume team. Isn't it detail on the costumes? A lot of fun. Here's some of the early sketches. Again, going back a year and a half in the bottom right there, you see the concepts for the costumes that we did, and then of course the realized costumes you see up at the top. The team just did a fabulous job of it. So then another fun part of the show, I hope you noticed, but one of my favorite pieces is the choreography for the show. Michael McKendrick, just a shout out to Michael on our team in entertainment who choreographed the show. Just did an outstanding job. So here's a little bit of sort of rehearsal hall footage. Again, you may have seen this on the blog, but I think it's fun just to give you a peek of how we put together a number like Jungle Book. So take a look at this.
I'm the king of the swingers, the jungle VIP. I'll raise the dog at the start, and that's what I'll remain.
Process is a lot of work for the cast, and learning all the choreography. Again, that was shot fairly early in the process as they're backstage in the rehearsal halls. Got to learn all those dance moves, and it takes a lot of work to get through that. The design of the map was an important part of the process of this, sort of creating what was that world of the map. And then here's just some of the process behind the scenes as we built the show. This is Mickey being shot in front of a green screen for when he ends up inside of the world of the map. So that was a fun part of the process, is doing the actual creation of that portion of the show. And then of course our great technical team here, shout out to them for all the work they did to assemble this wonderful new stage and set. Building the painter shop, Jensen's shop here, the beginning of the magical map coming together. Just to give you a flavor of how that all looks as we worked hard to put this all and get all the pieces in place. Miles and miles of wiring and technology backstage and all the automation controls that run everything on stage. Just a huge shout out to the tech team that did a great job. So that just gives you a little flavor of sort of how we got from about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago to today. And a little bit of the process that we go through to create these. And we're so glad you enjoyed it. With that, let's get Tim back out here and maybe we can do a little question and answer and answer some of your questions about the show. Tim?
I'm here. Here I am. Not so enthusiastic now. All right, anybody have any questions? We have microphones right here. Step right. I think I see a question right here. Somebody in some Minnie Mouse ears. Come on up. Come on up. And you're going to have to crane right up to that microphone. Oh, a professional. Great.
You got a job.
Go ahead. What's your question?
How did you make Pocahontas go up from there?
Wow. Good
How'd you
question.
make Pocahontas appear?
Pocahontas, a little theatrical magic there. Yeah, there's some very fun technology and ways that we deliver performers to the stage. But yeah, she actually comes up a staircase back up through the back there. Isn't that nice?
Okay, now I don't want to see that on the internet.
No.
Okay? All right. Oh, we have another question over here.
Why didn't you guys do a signing book with a pen that's actually a paintbrush, but on the top you tap it, and the bottom, the pen comes out?
Yeah, next question over here.
Future show writer right there. Very good. That's a good idea.
Doug, I think this is a ringer. Over here.
How did you get Mickey in and out of the map?
How'd they get Mickey in and out of the map?
That's magic. Well, just through some very special effects, and you saw that picture there that I showed you where Mickey was in front of that big green thing. So that's kind of part of how we make that work, so that he can go inside of the map.
Okay, and we have a question over here.
How did you make King Louis' eyes and mouth move?
Well, King Louis' eyes and mouth have always moved.
Yes.
There you go. No. Thank you
Now,
for that
you
question.
guys,
again.
you know, like a good magician, we can't give up all the tricks.
No.
So we only have time for about 20 more questions. So, right here.
First of all, I love the show, and I was wondering if there's any chance it'll be like World of Color, where it will constantly evolve, where current movies, just like the map, is never finished.
Great question.
Good question.
Yeah, we purposely set out when we designed the show to allow for exactly that. We wanted to make a show that we could, as new things or great music came along, and Disney just does a great job of that, that in the future we could do exactly that. And the opportunity, because the map is really the magical device that can take us anywhere, so we can go to some different places. You could imagine even at the end of the show, Mickey may choose to go to a different place than Princess and the Frog. So we have lots of opportunity in the future to do that. Thank you for the question.
Now we have a question over here. Now hold on. What's your name? What is it? Right. Okay, good. Thanks. Get a little feedback up here. And how old are you? 2. 2. Okay, what's your question? Really loud. How what?
How you make? Why you dressed up Mickey?
You got that?
Yeah.
Why did we dress up Mickey?
Because he's Jens's apprentice. He's the painter's apprentice, and that's his apprentice costume.
He's playing a role. He's playing a role in a play.
Yeah,
Good question.
That's a great lead into one of the things that Tim and I were talking about earlier. We really wanted to make sure that Mickey had a part to play. Mickey is a rascally little guy with a lot of character and a lot of personality, and we really wanted to make sure that Mickey had a part in this show.
Now hold on a second. We have a budding White House correspondent here because she has a follow-up question. Yes, another question.
I love you.
Good night, everybody. Why can't we end on that?
Yeah, that's better than applause. That's awesome.
All right, question over here.
This is not a question, it's a comment. This show is really awesome. This is like my third time.
There we go.
You guys did a good job.
Okay, from this point on, no more questions, just comments like that. Okay, question over here. In the pink hat. Not you, sir, the little girl.
Why wasn't Ariel here?
This is our cue to leave. She said, why isn't Ariel here?
Well, Ariel's over at Fantasy Fair. Have you been over to Fantasy Fair yet today? Yeah, so Ariel's at Fantasy Fair.
You know, Doug, how easily the audience turns on us very quickly.
Even a little more.
The question right here.
What was the process you had to go through to decide which of the Disney characters to include in the show?
Yeah. You know, so the question is, how do we pick which characters? It's really about the music. The process starts with, this long list of wonderful Disney music, and you can't get it all into a show, and you have to sort of really think about it. So it really comes down to the musical selections that we wanted to do. We're in Fantasyland Theater, we're kind of outdoors, the trains go by, it's a little bit noisy, so we needed numbers with lots of energy and really keep things kind of upbeat. So the characters that ended up, we wanted some classic stuff and some newer things, and we really wanted to mix it up. So it really comes down to selecting the music and then which characters sort of go along with those pieces of music.
And we have this gentleman right here. Speak real loud into the microphone.
I noticed with the Lilo and Stitch section, it's the only section that doesn't have Lilo and Stitch.
Hold on.
Turn it again.
Were you here last Tuesday? We got the same question last Tuesday, and you look really familiar.
We were looking to strike a balance between some of the characters being a part of what you see in the map and some of the characters being live on stage. So they're just creative choices that you make as you go through the process about which characters are going to be live, which characters we would represent in the map. So it's just a part of the design process of the show. And sort sort of figure that out. And it's a pretty complex picture to figure out at times as well, I might add. It's a great question.
And we have a question over here.
First of all, thank you so much for including Mulan. I've been waiting for her to see anything in Disneyland. Was there anything you had to fight to get in the show, or was it just everything got in there that you wanted in there?
Choosing Milan, well, yeah, so again, it's about the music, and our music producer who you saw in the video, Bruce Healy, kind of came up with this idea of a way to stitch those three sort of pieces of music together. Arguably, probably three of the most beautiful Disney songs, if not the three most beautiful Disney songs. And I Can See the Light is fantastic, and Reflection. So it was really about this idea of those three songs somehow interweaving that led us to sort of move down the path of getting to that song. It's my favorite part of the show.
You know what was fun to watch? Because I was back there in the booth. What was fun to watch is when each of the characters came out, you guys went crazy.
Yeah.
And the women, what is it with Flynn Rider and women? I do the smolder, but I don't want to bore you. Yes, question.
Hi, in the Under the Sea skit, the bubbles, how are they made? And why
Chewing gum.
Lots of chewing gum. Yeah, no, we found a vendor that makes them, and we worked with them to get the special color that we got, and that was actually a bit of a process as well. We, again, just got this crazy idea, wouldn't it be fun if, and we did some research and found some vendors who could make balloons that big, and we played with it, and ended up being really, really a fun part of the show.
So how does it not deflate, though, when they go in?
What's that?
How does it not deflate when they go inside it?
You know, they're just they're so large and have such a volume of air in them, and if the guys get into them quickly, it just doesn't lose that much air. So people wonder how long they can last, and they actually could be inside them for several minutes. There's actually a lot of air in there. So everybody was like, how long can they be inside of the bubbles? And actually, there's quite a bit of air in the bubbles.
Good question. And speak really loudly because the train's coming in.
Well, I love the show, and I love the possibility that there's a chance for the show to evolve that you just said. That's amazing. And I love the new Imagination track. And I'm wondering just two things. Will we be able to get that on a future park CD? And was there ever a discussion if the title was too close to the classic Sherman Brothers Epcot Imagination track, Journey into Imagination from that?
Yeah, we wrote this. An original song was written for the show by a songwriting team named Adam and Andy. They were actually here for the premiere event and just did a fabulous job. I don't know about your question about the Sherman Brothers song. I was not involved in the conversation about the particular naming of it, but I think we're excited to sort of, it perfectly sort of sets up what this is all about, and was really, again, the music side of the creation of the show is really one of the most fun parts of it all. Is to kind of,
Will there be a soundtrack to the show?
Yeah. So again, our merchandise team. You're about the 10th person that's asking that question, so I'm going to be bringing that up to them because it is a great soundtrack, and I would love to see that happen as well.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Question.
Yeah, first, I love the show, like all my childhood rather, and we were working on the quest today, the after show quest all day, and you know, it just clicked right now that every character on the show is one part of the quest, and I was wondering, how did you guys came up with that? I mean, for me it was so like brilliant for you guys to connect all that, and I just wanted to know how the process was.
Again, the characters you've seen, it really came down to selecting sort of this great pattern of music, and it was really about the song selection that sort of led us to which characters and which stories we wanted to tell. Again, looking at really classic stuff like the Jungle Book number, and then things like Lilo and Stitch, and just picking great music was really, again, it was a challenge, but narrowing it down to those 7 songs that you hear in the show.
Uh-oh, and who's this little fella here? What's your name?
Terrence.
And how old are you?
5.
5. Hi. What's your question?
I was going to tell you, the guy with that hat,
That's it.
how come he wasn't mad at Mickey Mouse?
Why wasn't he mad at Mickey?
When he wasn't mad, he was actually really happy that Mickey was learning about the map. So he always wanted Mickey to understand the map, but he knew that Mickey needed to experience some things with the map so that he could understand it better.
Okay.
Okay. Good question.
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a question over here?
How can you pick what you want the stage to look like?
Now, wait a minute, Doug. Now, did you get the emphasis? Is he half Italian? How do you know what the stage is going to look like? Good question.
We had a very, very talented designer. His name is Steve Bass. And Steve created and designed all of the sets. He designed the look of the map and all the things that you see in the world of the map. So very, very talented artist named Steve Bass.
Did you like the map? Pretty cool. There's a big boy. How old are you? No, never mind. Never mind.
Hi. I just want to let you know I love the concept of the map and the characters coming up out of it. But I think that when you're projecting things, you lose something with having the walkways there. Did you look at possibly having the walkways move so that the map, you can see everything in the map, kind of how it separates?
Yeah. Great question. A lot of consideration. We knew that we wanted the map to interact with the performers, that we wanted them to be in and out of it and on it and in it. So really the only way to achieve that was to sort of create the multiple levels that we could hear. So yeah, this is a bit of work to make this all come together and allow all of that to happen in the map. So, thank you.
Now wait a minute. We have a twofer over here.
Actually, someone took my question, but I waited in line. So
Okay.
I'm going to say something.
Sure.
I'm just going to say amazing and congratulations.
Thank you.
And thanks for making it magical. I mean, I've been coming here for as a club probably 40 years, and literally, and it's just amazing.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we the challenge of doing a new show at Disneyland in a theater that we haven't really done a live stage show since Snow White, about 6 years. Here we're in Fantasyland, we're at Disneyland. It's got to be great. It's got to be classic. But we wanted it to have a fresh, contemporary, new feel to it. And so I think that was one of the key things we set out to do was, be classic, be true to Disney, but have choreography and music and technology used in a way that makes it really, really new and fresh and fun.
And who do we have here?
Malia,
Hi, what's your question?
how did you make all this structure?
Structure?
Structure.
That's a good word. Well, the technical team and some very fabulous scenery shops that actually build all of our sets for us did all that work and made it all come together. So it's all built in a shop off-site, and then again, some of the pictures you saw, the team brings it here and assembles it all back together on stage.
Good stuff. And who do we have over here? Who's this?
Kieran,
Hi, what's your question?
I like this show, but is Merida going to be in any of the shows?
Merida. Good choice, yeah. So again, the hard choice of picking which characters can be in the show and which music can be in the show. So, you can meet Merida right over here across the way, so she's here, but she just didn't fit in the show. But to the question earlier, maybe at some point in the future, she could be a part of the show.
Yes, question.
Yeah, first I want to state I've been coming to Disneyland since 1962.
Wow.
Great.
I used to walk these streets here at Disneyland with Walt Disney himself.
That's awesome.
And I want to say you have made Walt Disney very proud.
Oh, thank you. That's an honor. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I know without a doubt, because one day Walt Disney told me, this is what he told me. He told me, dream big.
Yeah.
And your imagination will take you there.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
you have done that.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, if you notice at the end of the show, it actually makes a little mention to a Walt quote there about imagination never being.
That's right. That's a very famous wall quote. Okay, the train's coming in really, really loud.
I loved your music, but I just wanted to know how many types of instruments are there? How big is the orchestra?
Yeah, how big
That's
was
a
the
great
orchestra?
question.
So the recording session for the soundtrack, we had 80 musicians, 80. And then there were singers, so over 100 singers and musicians worked to create the soundtrack for the show. And then all of the solo songs, all the princesses and Sebastian, those are all sung live, so those performers are singing live, but the soundtrack, the orchestration was a total of about 100 people that worked on that.
Okay, question over here.
How do you make the princess's voice sound so similar to the movies?
How do we make music sound similar to the movies?
Yeah.
It's really starting with the original orchestrations that were done for the movie. So the composers of the music write all that out, and we take a look at that. And then we try to just give it a live show feel and adapt it a little bit, but obviously stay true to what you heard in the movie so that you know it and it feels familiar. But just give it a little more energy for a live stage show instead of a movie.
That sounds like a question from a big movie fan. Are you a big movie fan? Yeah. Big knowing smile. And who's this?
Alan,
Hi. What's your question?
how do you get the paint up there?
How do you get the paint up there?
Magic. So, no, again, folks who work in a big shop and they put all this together and they paint it all and then they take it all apart and bring it here and then they put it all back up. So people paint it.
And does your sister have a question? You're the accomplice. I see. Okay, who's next? Anybody else have a question? Come on up. Or down. There you go. This is the real one.
Is the princesses gonna stay there forever?
Yes, the princesses are going to stay here forever, absolutely. In the
map? Oh, she wants to know if they're going to stay in the map forever.
They're not stuck in the map.
No, they are not stuck in the map.
They come out in front of the map.
You know, we had an adult ask that question last week. Okay, question. What's your name?
Emily?
Hello, Emily. What's your question?
How come you never use the paints up there?
How come what?
How come they never use the paints up there?
Up here? Like up here? Doug, that's all yours.
That's so that we all know that we're in a map maker's paint shop where they paint maps. Right? You remember when the performers came out and had big paintbrushes? It's because they're all going to paint the map.
Next question. Who's next? Who's next? We only have like 50 more minutes.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to know what inspired you to make this show and how you came up with the idea of it.
Yeah. So we set out, again, about 2 years ago, we knew we wanted to return a live show to the theater. I don't know if you've noticed, but the theater, you mentioned Minneapolis, we completely redid the slope of the theater so that it was better viewing for an audience, which is one of the important things we wanted to accomplish. If we were going to bring a live stage show back into Fantasyland, we wanted to make sure it was good viewing. And it wasn't perfect, had a big flat floor from years gone by. And so we set out about 2 years ago that we wanted to bring again a show back to Disneyland, to the Fantasyland Theater. It was a classic show, but again, had that very new and contemporary feel to it. And so we looked at all different kinds of concepts, and as the creative team came back and presented, this one in particular just jumped out as an idea, this magical map, and all the places the magical map could take us, and we just love that idea as a vehicle to, again, just take us to all these journeys. And then most importantly, that there was this part for Mickey to play as the mapmaker's apprentice so that he could have a part in the show that was really representative of who Mickey is as a character and a performer. So those are probably the key things. Thank you.
Now we have our last couple of questions. Who is this? What's your name?
My name is Reagan.
Hello, Reagan. How old are you?
5.
What's your question?
Well, why did they have to paint the map?
They had to paint the map so that we could go to all those wonderful places that it takes us.
Good question, Megan. Can you do a curtsy? You were kind of practicing there. Very nice. Thank you. Let's hear it for Reagan and that curtsy. Come on. Okay, next question. Behind you. Do you have a question? Okay.
How was the dot alive?
How long was the dot alive?
He's still alive. He's always alive. Yeah. He comes back every show. You gonna come back and see him?
Yeah.
Do you like him? He's kind of funny. I love when he jumps down and he's all wet and he goes, and he shakes the water off.
Hold on a minute. How's that go, Doug? Okay, just checking.
Well, it was fun seeing Mickey.
Yeah. Is he your favorite character, Mickey?
Yeah, once we got his autograph.
You did?
You did? Well, congratulations.
He's a a big star, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, one last question
One
right
last
back here, right? You're the very last. Let's hear it for our last question. Next to last question. You snuck in. Go ahead.
How did you get the lights up there?
How'd you get what?
The lights.
The lights.
The lights. We have a very talented technical crew, and some of them specialize in doing lights. And they know just how to put lights all over the place. Like right down here, I'm looking at lights, and up there, there's lights. They're all over the place. So our lighting crew does all of that. They do a good job, too.
Good question. Now our last question. Okay, speak loudly in the mics.
Is this loud enough? My name is Chris. I'm a fan of Disney, and I had one question. Really, is I haven't heard much from you, Team Imagineers. Have they like participated in the whole progression of this whole set?
Have the Imagineers participated in putting this show together? Is that the question?
Imagineers?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, Creative Entertainment and Walt Disney Imagineering were sort of merged together. So I think of myself as an Imagineer, and all the Creative Entertainment team thinks of themselves as Imagineers. And we work, our office is literally like 100 feet away. So we work with them all the time and integrate both the live entertainment with all the wonderful attraction work we do. And Tom Fitzgerald, who's the creative executive here for the Disneyland Resort, helps review and give us thoughts and ideas, so it's a very, very collaborative process. Thank you.
Great questions, everybody. We hope you had a great time, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
On behalf of everyone at the Disneyland Resort, thank you for joining us this evening and for being an annual pass holder. We hope you enjoy the rest of your visit and look forward to seeing you again soon.